Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Kritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayantiri Nashtu Praheshu Abhadreshu Yam Bhagavata Sevi Bhagavati Uttam Shloki Bhakti Bhakti Nashtiki. So, continuing with the discussion on the pastimes of Lord Nityananda. So, yesterday we discussed till Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas, and Nityananda Prabhu tricked him to come to Shantipur instead of going to Vrindavan. So he came to Shantipur, and then, as I said, Mother Shachi came over there, and every day she was cooking for all the devotees for 10 days. And there, Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita Acharya being the senior most Brahman over there, but he knew the position of Lord Nityananda. He knew why Lord Nityananda is acting, or he is an Avadhut, like he's completely in love of Gaurang Mahaprabhu. So his position, Nityananda Prabhu's position, was kind of hidden. So Advaita Acharya and Nityananda Prabhu would seemingly fight with each other. Like when they were sitting down to have prasadam, and Advaita Acharya would tease Nityananda Prabhu that I cannot have prasadam with him. We don't know his caste. We don't know where does he belong. He just eats anywhere and everywhere. And Nityananda Prabhu would chastise him, and then they would just have verbal fight. And Prabhupada there writes that if we see two Vaishnavas fighting verbally or either way, we should not take sides of anyone. Otherwise, we might end up committing offense. So Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita Acharya, their fight was basically to glorify each other. And those who didn't have faith, they would not understand how they're glorifying each other. When Advaita Acharya was saying, we don't know what caste he is in. And because he is beyond any caste, he is transcendental, complete transcendental. He eats at anybody or everybody's house because Nityananda Prabhu doesn't make any distinction. He wants to give his mercy to everybody. But those who don't understand the inner meaning of Advaita Acharya's talks, they might commit offense. And many people did commit offense. So from there, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was ordered by Shachi Devi, Mother Shachi Devi, to go to Jagannath Puri. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left Navadvip on foot to go to Jagannath Puri, and Nityananda Prabhu, Mukunda, and few other devotees came along because they just wanted to make sure Mahaprabhu reaches Jagannath Puri. He doesn't go here or there. Also, they wanted to serve Mahaprabhu. So while going, so they were walking from Navadvip to Jagannath Puri. It's a long distance. And that time, India was divided in different kingdoms, small kingdoms. So every place they go to, when they cross from one kingdom to another, they had to pay toll. There were so many toll booths. Well, Mahaprabhu had told everybody, you're not going to carry any money if you're going to come with me. We're going to fully depend on Krishna. I'm a sannyasi. I'm supposed to completely be dependent upon Krishna. So when Mahaprabhu would reach the toll booth, the toll collector would see the sannyasi, and Mahaprabhu was, again, he was so beautiful, the young, very effulgent sannyasi. So toll collectors would just let him pass. But when Nityananda Prabhu, Mukunda, and others would come, toll collector would say, no, you have to give toll. people, and they would say, "We are with him. We are his servants, and we are not carrying any money." And this is how Nityanand Prabhu was actually bestowing his mercy on all the toll collectors and everybody while walking, and they would also let them go. So walking, they came close to Jagannath Puri, and there's a river there. So Mahaprabhu said, "I'm going to stop here and I'm going to take darshan of there's a deity of Lord Shiva, Koteshwar Mahadev." And Mahaprabhu said, "I'm also going to take bath in this river, Suvarna Rekha river." So Mahaprabhu gave Nityanand Prabhu his danda, the sannyas danda, and he went to take bath, and then he took darshan. And while Nityanand Prabhu was looking at that danda, he said, "This does not make sense. I'm carrying my Lord in my heart, and my Lord is carrying you in your hands. He doesn't need a danda." And also, that danda, sannyas danda, was given to him by his sannyas guru, who was actually a Shankaracharya line of guru. So in Shankaracharya line of Mayavad sannyasis, they get one danda. In Vaishnava tradition, they get three danda. Three bamboo sticks are there, and they're tied together to make it one. But Mayavadis, they take only one stick, because their philosophy is we are one with God. And Vaishnava philosophy is three sticks means we are surrendering ourselves, means our body, mind, and words to the service of the Lord. So this is also the reasons Nityananda said, "This danda does not befit my Lord." And moreover, he doesn't need a danda. He's beyond all this sannyas or this or that limitations. So he broke the danda in three places and threw them in the river. So Mahaprabhu came, and then he was in ecstasy, and he started walking and dancing, and then Nityanand Prabhu and others also started walking behind him. And then going up for a while, he turned around, he said, "I gave you my danda. Where is my danda?" And Nityanand Prabhu, he said, "Well, you know what happened? You were in ecstasy, you were dancing and chanting, and then you fell down on ground, and then you fell down and then on the danda, and the danda broke in pieces, and I threw them in the river." Mahaprabhu knew what happened. he was outwardly, he was angry at Nityanand Prabhu. He was saying that danda is the only property only possession of a sannyasi, actually. And the danda, actually, what it represents also is it's the seat of all the demigods. All the demigods reside in the danda of sannyas. So outwardly, Mahaprabhu was angry, but he knew Nityanand Prabhu knows my heart. So then he's told everybody, "Okay, I'm very upset with you. You don't listen to me at all. So either you go first or I'll go first to Jagannath Puri. We're not going to go together." So all the devotees, Nityanand Prabhu, Mukunda, they all said, no, you go first. It's okay. We'll come back. We'll follow you later. Because Nityanand Prabhu knew that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, actually, he did not want to carry that chanda first. And secondly, he wanted to go alone to Jagannath Puri to take darshan of Lord Jagannath. We have to understand now, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is who? Is Krishna, but in the mood of Srimati Radharani, in the separation, Radharani in separation from Krishna. And Jagannath Ji is who? Krishna in separation from Srimati Radharani. So he wanted to have that darshan alone of Lord Jagannath. So this whole pastime was created. And that river where Danda was broken, it was Suvarna Rekha river, but now it's called Dandabhanga river, Dandabhanga Nadi. And by mercy of Krishna, ISKCON has a beautiful property there and beautiful right at the banks of the Dandabanga River, and beautiful temple, wonderful deities are there. Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra there, Radha Krishna, they're beautiful, beautiful place. So maybe if Jagannath ji allows, if we go there, we'll go definitely go and take darshan there. So Mahaprabhu went first to Jagannath Puri, and when he entered the temple of Lord Jagannath, when he entered, he just ran towards Lord Jagannath. He wanted to embrace him, but the pujaris stopped him. But then he looked at Jagannath. He saw Shyam Sundar, and he just fainted. He fell down unconscious. So the pujaris or pandas there, we have seen the pandas of Lord Jagannath when the Pahundi ceremony happens and they carry Lord Jagannath from the Ratna Singhasan to the chariot. They're very strongly built. They have to carry Lord Jagannath. So they all wanted to. They thought Mahaprabhu is some kind of impostor, and they wanted to beat him up. That what is this happening in front of Lord Jagannath? And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was supposed there. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was a guru of Maharaj Pratap Rudra. And he stopped them. He said, no, this sannyasi is not an ordinary sannyasi. And he was there and he told his servants to pick him up and take him to his house, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house, which is not too far from Jagannath's temple. So there, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he thought maybe sannyasi had died, but then he put very fine cotton swab in front of the nostrils of Mahaprabhu, and he saw that fine cotton were moving a little. So he knew that sannyasi is breathing. He's not dead. He's just unconscious. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya had never seen anybody with so much of ecstatic symptoms. So meanwhile, Nityananda Prabhu and all the other devotees came. They went to the temple and they heard that one sannyasi came and he became unconscious looking at deity of Jagannath, and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya has taken him to his house. So they all came to the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and they found Chaitanya Mahaprabhu there. And Nityananda Prabhu Mukunda started singing and Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And slowly, Mahaprabhu came back to his consciousness. And then, probably the same day or a few days later, Nityananda Prabhu went to take darshan of Lord Jagannath. Now, Balramji, Nityananda Prabhu is Balramji. He is there to take darshan of Balramji. So Nityananda Prabhu also got into this ecstasy. But his ecstasy was different. He just ran and he jumped on the altar and he picked up the garland of Balramji and put it on him. And all the pandas, they were surprised. Who's this? And they were like, how dare he touched Lord Balram? And then pandas were ready to beat him up, and Nityananda Prabhu just moved his hands. And all the pandas, all the security guards, they just fell far away. And then they understood he is not an ordinary person. So they gave him Jagannath's garland also, and Nityananda Prabhu was pacified, and then he came out. So after a while, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to South India, and then Nityananda Prabhu and other devotees, they came back to Navadvip. And when they got the news 2 years later, when Mahaprabhu has come back, so they all came. And so then it became every yearly ritual or tradition that for Chaturmas, they would come to Jagannath Puri and attend Rath Yatra and all of the festivals, and then they go back. So, of course, wonderful pastime when Mahaprabhu led the devotees to do Gundicha Marjan, the cleansing of Gundicha temple. And again, after cleansing of temple, all the devotees, they were tired and they went to Narendra Sarovar to take bath over there. And And the devotees, when the devotees get into water, somehow something happens to them. And it also used to happen to all of us as well. Whenever we used to get into water, some water fight would start. And Nityanand Prabhu and Advaita Acharya would be splashing water at either both of them, and then water fight and other devotees. But it wasn't a fight to defeat anybody. It was a fight for that you get the more mercy of Jagannathji. You get more mercy of Jagannath, because Narendra Sarovar, the water is not different from Jagannath. So anyway, after the fight, they all would come and they have wonderful prasadam and enjoy their time over there. And many pastimes happened when Lord Nityananda was there, during Rath Yatra, or giving mercy to Maharaj Pratap or other pastimes. But one year, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Nityananda Prabhu that, see, Lord Nitai, you don't have to come to Jagannath Puri every year. Now you should stay in Navadvip. And he said, I have taken sannyas so that people don't commit offenses against me, and when they see me pay obeisances or they listen to me, they get benefited. But I have a limitation. I cannot go and preach to everybody. But you should get married and preach to everybody in Navadvip. So understanding the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu left. And he left with few of his devotees, Ramdas, Abhiram, and few other. And while they were walking from Jagannath Puri to Navadvip, they were dancing and chanting, and kirtan was going on, and they were at complete ecstasy. They didn't even know what was happening. After walking for a while, for many hours, they asked somebody, how far is Ganga from here? And the person said, oh, you're so far away from Ganga. It's that way. You have to go 3 hours on this road, and then you will hit Ganges. Because their idea was walking on the banks of Ganges so they would reach. But again, there was dancing and chanting and singing in complete ecstasy. And after walking for a few hours, they asked somebody, which way is Ganga? He said, Ganga? You're going the other way. Ganga is 6 hours that way. Again, they started chanting and dancing, and kirtan was going on, and they were in complete ecstasy. And on the way, Ramdas, he was in so much of ecstasy. He just stood at one place like Krishna in threefold bended form. And all the devotees were dancing and chanting, doing kirtan around him, and he stood like that for 9 hours. He didn't even move. And the kirtan was going on. And after 9 hours, he came into external consciousness, and again they started walking. So somehow or other, I don't know, even it's mentioned by Vrindavan Das Thakur, somehow or other, they reached Panihati. Because the way they were walking, they would have never reached. But somehow they reached Panihati. So Panihati is a place, actually it's in the outskirts of Calcutta. When we, from the Calcutta airport, when we go towards Mayapur, it's little bit offside. But again, ISKCON has a beautiful temple there. So they came to Panihati village, and that is a village where Nityananda Prabhu gave mercy to Raghunath Das Goswami also. But they came to the Panihati village, and there was a house of Raghav Pandit. Raghav Pandit, another wonderful devotee of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Every year, Raghav Pandit, his sister Damayanti, would prepare hundreds and thousands of preparations, and she would put them nicely in small pots, cover them up, tie them up, and then she would prepare nice pickles, and there's lots of items. And that Raga Pandit would bring every year to Jagannath Puri for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would eat little every day for the rest of the year from that. So that Raghavera Jhari means the basket, was very popular. In fact, till today, to commemorate that in Gaudiya Mutt, whenever the devotees come before Rath Yatra starts, so they prepare this kind of Raghavir Jari, not Gaudiya Mutt at the Gambhira. And to come, of course, it's not the same what Damayanti used to make, but still, the tradition is still on. And they make this basket and then they offer it to the deities, and then all the devotees get the prasad. So this was the mood of Raghav Pandit and his sister. So Nityananda Prabhu went to his house and he stayed at his house. And one day Nityananda Prabhu just sat where the altar was, and all the devotees came and they did his abhishek, they did his worship. And while everything was going on, Nityananda Prabhu asked Raga Pandit, Raga, I have a desire, very strong desire, to wear a garland of Kadamba flowers. So get me a garland. And Raga Pandit came with his folded hands. Oh my Lord, this is not the season of Kadamba flowers. We don't get Kadamba flowers in this season, and moreover, we don't have a tree of Kadamba flowers, Kadamba tree here. So it'll be difficult. And Nityananda Prabhu said, well, just go outside, see, maybe you will couple of Kadamba flowers and then you can bring them. And Raga Pandit came out in his courtyard. And then he saw a tree fully blossomed Kadamba flowers. And that tree was a lemon tree, Nimbu tree. It wasn't even a Kadamba tree. And it was full of Kadamba flowers. He said, only Nityananda Prabhu can do this miracle. So he took out all the Kadamba flowers, he made a wonderful garland and he put them on Nityananda Prabhu. And then the kirtan started, and everybody was dancing and chanting in that wonderful kirtan at Raga Pandit's house. And in the middle of the kirtan, Nityananda Prabhu asked, do you smell a wonderful fragrance? And all the devotees were, yes, we do smell. What is it? Nityananda Prabhu said, this fragrance is actually of Damanaka flowers. And then he said, Damanaka flowers are not found here in Bengal, they're found in Odisha. Actually, he said, Mahaprabhu has come seeing your kirtan. He is standing right there with the beautiful garland of Damanaka flowers. And of course, nobody could see Mahaprabhu. Nityananda Prabhu could see, and hearing that Mahaprabhu, everybody started dancing and jumping, and kirtan was going on. And it is said that kirtan went on for 3 months. We have never heard of 3-month-long kirtan. And 3 months, nobody sat down, nobody slept, nobody ate anything, nobody drank, nobody stopped dancing. Kirtan went on and on and on and on. And there were devotees in complete ecstasy. Even big devotees, heavy body devotees, they would in their ecstasy, they just climb on the trees, and they would go from the main branch to the sub branch, and then from the sub branch to the little creepers of the tree, and they would dance over there, and nobody would fall down. All mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. Just imagine a tree on the little creepers, and they would be dancing on the little twigs. They would be dancing, and nobody would fall down. And little boys, 5-6-year-old boys, they were also dancing and chanting. And even their parents were happy that, okay, they're not going to school, they are in the kirtan of Nityananda Prabhu. And little men, they would, in their ecstasy, they will hug a tree and then dancing, dancing. They would just uproot the whole tree. Of course, the trees would get liberated because devotees were doing that. But they were in complete ecstasy. They didn't even know what they were doing. This is what Lord Nityananda does to people. His mercy, his glands would just fill them up with Krishna Prem. And then after dancing and performing kirtan over there for so many months, he stayed and then he came to Navadvip. And then following the order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he desired to get married. So just like Balramji had two wives, Revati and Varuni. So Nityanand Prabhu, Revati and Varuni had to incarnate to marry Nityanand Prabhu. So they incarnated in the house of Suryadas Sarkel of Ambika Nagar. So Ma Janva and Ma Janva, the elder one. So Nityanand Prabhu went to the house and some of the matrimony was arranged. And actually what had happened, Nityanand Prabhu went with his associates to house of Suryadas. And then Nityanand Prabhu, everything was arranged, but then he came out, he said, no, I'm not going to get married. He came out. He went to some other place. And hearing that Nityanand Prabhu is not going to marry me, Ma Janva, she just fell down unconscious. And Suryadas Pandit tried everything to revive her, but nothing. She was just unconscious for many, many days. And then Nityanand Prabhu heard and he came back. And just smelling the barley fragrance of Nityanand Prabhu, Ma Janva, she came to the consciousness. And then everybody understood this is a right match. This is what Krishna has arranged. So Nityanand Prabhu, that marriage ceremony happened. And while in the marriage ceremony, Nityanand Prabhu was sitting with his associates and Ma Janva was serving them. And Ma Janva's little sister, Vasudha, also was serving all the devotees. And while serving, Vasudha, she had that sari on her head, the pallu was on her head. And while she was serving, the pallu was about to fall off the head. So two hands, she was holding a bucket and the serving spoon. And so all of a sudden, two extra hands appeared in her body. And those hands, they put the pallu back on the head. And Nityanand Prabhu saw that. And he told Suryadas that for dowry, just give me your other daughter also. I want to marry both of them. Because they are eternal associates of Lord Nityananda. So then Nityanand Prabhu married both of them. And so far he was living the life of an Avadhuta, but now Mahaprabhu had told him to become a Grihastha. So he wanted to wear jewelry. And then if Nityanand Prabhu had the desire to wear jewelry, wonderful jewelry just appeared. People came with beautiful, beautiful jewelry. And it is said that all the jewels that Nityanand Prabhu was wearing, they're the personification of Navadha Bhakti. And I've heard, I've seen the pictures also, I haven't practically seen. Some of the jewelry is still there in Navadvip, and we can go and take darshan. So him wearing jewelry, beautiful necklace and the earrings and the bangles and other jewelry items. He was staying in the house of a Brahman. I believe his name was Hiranya Pandit. And he would go out every day and do kirtan, and then was staying in that house. And one group of dacoits, they saw that this person is wearing wonderful jewelry, costly, expensive jewelry, and we should steal it. So they made a plan, and that at night we're gonna attack this house, we're gonna kill everybody, and then we're gonna steal the jewelry. And while they were waiting outside under the trees in their hideout, and all they were talking, all the decor, I will take the necklace, and I'll take the bangles, and I'll take the earrings, and this and that. While talking like that, all these dacoits, they fell asleep. And early morning when people were started to walk around, and they heard all this noise, and then they got up. What happened? What happened? And then somehow they hid their weapons, and then they came to back to their house, and they started blaming each other. No, it's you. You slept first, and you were supposed to keep a watch and this and that. But then the leader said, no, no, no. Let's not argue. Let's not fight here. I think we did not please Kali. So we should please her and get her permission, and then we'll go and steal. So they did the way they wanted to do the puja, which is not mentioned in any scripture. Just like we studied how they worship Kali in Jad Bharat's case, they just made up their own stuff, and they think they get the mercy of Kali to do all the nonsense they do. So anyway, another night, they went and they wanted to just steal and kill everybody, and it was getting dark. Night was getting dark, and they went there, and they were again outside in their hideout and waiting. And when they wanted to go to that house where Nityananda Prabhu was staying, as soon as they came close to the house, they saw huge, very, very big security guards were there. And they were covering the whole boundary wall of that house, and they were there to guard, and they were walking around, and they were saying Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Big guards, or maybe 8 or 10 feet tall. And all these dacoits, they thought, oh, maybe this Nitai, he figured out that we're going to rob him, and that's why he told the king, and king has sent his bodyguards to protect him, to kill us. So they just, even looking at the guards, they got afraid, and they just came back. They said, no, this Nitai is not an ordinary, not a simple person, and the jewels must be really, really expensive. That's why he got the guards. Let's wait for a few more days and we'll go again. So again, after a few days, they went, and this time there were no guards. They said, okay, today is a nice day, nice night. We can attack. So they went, and as soon as they came close to the house, now Indradev saw these rascals coming to steal Lord Nityananda's jewelries and heard it. So he ordered wind and the rain and the lightning and thunderbolt, everything started. And it got cold, and there were hailstorm, and all these dacoits, they basically went blind, and they fell down in the ditch, and so somebody got pierced by the thorn, somebody got bit by the snakes and the insects, and the hail started, and hail was bouncing on their bodies and breaking all their bones. And then the rain was there, and they were like, what did we do? Who is this Nityananda? And just after suffering a long time, the dacoit leader, he just in his mind only, he took shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. He said, please protect me, save me, and I'll leave everything, all this nonsense, and I'll take shelter of lotus feet. And he just thought like that. And all of a sudden, everything stopped. No more rain, no hail, no wind. And the thorns also came out of their bodies or on their own. And they got okay. And they came back to their place. And next morning, the leader of the dacoit, he went, he took shelter of Lord Nityananda and he begged for forgiveness. He said, this is what I was going to do, but I, your mercy, you saved me. I'm yours. So please give me order what to do. So Nityanand Prabhu, very mercifully, he told him that it's good you have taken shelter. Now you don't do any of these sinful activities. And now you just preach. Tell everybody to chant the names of Krishna, think of Krishna, and worship Krishna. And preaching for that dacoit leader was because only people he knew or who would trust him were other dacoits. Normal people won't even trust him. So he just preached to the other dacoits. So he became Sankirtan leader of all the dacoits in the area. And he converted them. This was only by the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. This is his mercy. Patit Pavan, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Patit Pavan, the Nityananda Prabhu is Mahaprabhu is Patit Pavan for those who have some faith in him, those who approach him. Nityananda Prabhu goes behind, like Jagai and Madai, this dacoit leader, and he converts them and he gives them his mercy. And Nityananda Prabhu's associates, because they got so much of mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, so much of the prema, Krishna prema from Nityananda Prabhu. There was a Gadadhar Das Brahmachari. He, small Brahmachari, not a very big guy, but he was completely imbued by the love of Krishna, by the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. And this Brahmachari, he goes to the house of Qazi, Muslim Qazi. And the Qazi was known for his hatred of Vaishnavas. He goes to the house of Qazi in the middle of the night. And the security guards were outside. They said, what do you want? Oh, I want to meet Qazi. And security guard, what do you mean you want to meet Qazi? Go away. This is too late in the night. No. I want to see Qazi right now. And the security guards, huge, big guys, but the Gadadhar Pandit was a small guy. And they got bewildered. Where is he getting all this strength from? To come and talk to us like that? And hearing all this commotion, Qazi came out. He said, what is happening? And Gadadhar Pandit, Qazi, I want to tell you that you just chant the name of Krishna. Even Qazi was bewildered. What do you want? In the middle of the night, you want here to tell me this? Yes, you chant the name of Krishna. Qazi said, okay, Gadadhar, just go home right now. Tomorrow we will talk. No, you right now, you chant the name of Krishna and all your sins will be wiped out. Qazi was like, Gadadhar, go home. I'll chant the name of Hari tomorrow. And just he said that, I'll chant the name of Hari. He said Hari. And Gadadhar went, what? Tomorrow you just chanted the name of Hari. All your sins are wiped out. You're a Mahabhagavad. And he started dancing and chanting. And Qazi and the security guards were looking at Gadadhar. What happened to this boy? And just chanting, dancing, Gadadhar came back to his house. Another associate of Nityananda Prabhu, Murari Chaitanya. Murari Chaitanya would be in so much of love for Krishna, so much of ecstasy. He would go to the forest. And he would go to the forest and he would see a tiger. And he would tell tiger, chant the names of Krishna. And tiger would just look at him and even tiger would go face you. What is this? And so far, nobody comes in front of me. Everybody I go to, they all run away. And this guy is just coming in front of me and yelling at me and doing something. And then Murari Chaitanya would catch hold of the tail of the tiger and turn him and tell him, beat him up, chant the names of Krishna. And the tiger would run away from there, fearing for his life. This is this is the potency of Lord Nityananda. Of course, we cannot imitate Murari Chaitanya or Gadadhar Das or any other devotee. But this is the potency. If he can give so much of love for Krishna, the devotees can do amazing, amazing services. There was a devotee named Abhiram. Now, Abhiram, he was in Krishna Leela, he's a Sakha, Krishna Balram Sakha, cowherd boy. He was also in his own world, completely covered by love of Krishna, and he had a whip named Jai Mangal. That whip was named Jai Mangal, and whoever he would hit the person with the whip, the person would become devotee of Krishna. He would get Krishna prema. And another quality of Abhiram was he would come and he would pay obeisances to Shaligram Shila, to the deity Shaligram. And if the Shaligram Shila was not bona fide, because sometimes some cheaters, they will just keep some stone saying this is Shaligram. If the Shaligram wasn't bona fide, it would just break into pieces by Abhiram's paying obeisances. So people were very afraid of him. And if he would go to any person, any devotee, any Vaishnava who would claim that he has no material desires, and if Abhiram pay obeisances to that devotee, the devotee would die right away. If he has any tinge of material desires and he would be lying, and the person will die. So now Abhiram, now Nityananda Prabhu had wives, Vasudha and Janva. So Ma Janva didn't have any babies, didn't have any children. Ma Vasudha had. So Abhiram heard the news that Nityananda Prabhu had a baby boy. So Abhiram wanted to test whether this boy is fit to be Lord Nityananda's son. So he came to the house of Lord Nityananda and he paid obeisances to that boy, and the boy died. And everybody, Ma Vasudha was like, but Abhiram would be laughing. I see, he wasn't fit to be your son. And he went back. So few sons, I don't know how many, few sons like that died. And finally, Ma Vasudha gave birth to Veerbhadra, a son named Veerbhadra. And now Abhiram, everybody heard Abhiram is coming to pay obeisances to the son. And all the villagers, no, we're not going to let this happen again. This man comes and the boys die, and this is too much. So Abhiram came and he wanted to cross Ganges. So all the boatmen who were there, they said, we are not going to give our boat to Abhiram to cross over and then kill Nityananda Prabhu's son. So what they did, they just sank their boats. So when Abhiram came to the bank, there was no boat. So Abhiram said, well, this is not good. So what he did, he took out his chadar, he put it on Ganges water, and he just rode on the chadar. The chadar became the boat. Now all the boatmen were thinking, now what to do, how to stop this man. But Abhiram went to the house of Nityananda Prabhu. And he entered. He saw Veerbhadra playing in the lap of Nityananda Prabhu, and he paid obeisances. And Veerbhadra was smiling, and he started playing with Abhiram. And then Abhiram said, yes, he is a real incarnation. He is fit to be your son. He is incarnation of Vishnu. So that's how Veerbhadra survived. And everybody understood what his position was. So while in Jagannath Puri, as we know, Gadadhar Pandit used to stay at Tota Gopinath temple, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would go every day from Gambhira to Tota Gopinath to listen to Bhagavatam from Gadadhar Pandit. And when Nityanand Prabhu was there in Jagannath Puri for 1 year, he went to Tota Gopinath temple to meet Gadadhar Pandit. And Gadadhar Pandit, as we know, it's incarnation of Srimati Radharani. So Nityanand Prabhu went there to Gadadhar Pandit and he told Gadadhar Pandit that, Gadadhar, I have brought some rice with me. Why don't you prepare some rice, offer it to the deities and feed me prasadam? I'm very hungry. And Gadadhar Pandit, he saw Nityanand Prabhu had brought the bag, 40 kilo rice bag. And Gadadhar Pandit saw that rice and the fragrance of that rice, the color and the grains. He said, this rice is not from material world. You have brought it from Vaikuntha. So he prepared that rice and then he prepared some shak with it. And the fragrance of that rice was all over the place. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came at that time and he said, oh, there's a wonderful party going on. You guys did not invite me. And then Gadadhar Pandit made 2 plates for both Mahaprabhu and Nityan Prabhu to sit down and have prasadam and have that rice. And they ate to their heart's content. And as we know, Nityanand Prabhu, he appeared in that Ek Chakra village. There's a deity of Bankim Rai. Krishna as Bankim Rai. And Nityanand Prabhu, when he wanted to wind up his pastimes, he went to that Ek Chakra Gaon and then he merged in the deity of Bankim Rai and he unmanifested his pastimes. So Ma Janva remained, Ma Vasudha remained, and Ma Janva became because by that time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had already left. So Ma Janva, the wife of Nityanand Prabhu, she became a very big spiritual master of the whole group of devotees. And she preached, she traveled, she preached for a long time before she also left. So these are just some of the pastimes I could remember and I could share with you. We'll stop here, see anybody has any questions or comments. In fact, it is also said Srila Prabhupada has brought the mercy of Lord Nityananda to the rest of the world, like we were discussing yesterday. So one instance, what happened was, Prabhupada used to travel all over the world, preach, go to temples, meet the devotees, and guide them how to carry on with the management and this, and that. So many things Prabhupada was doing. And Prabhupada went to one temple and he asked about a particular devotee, and the temple president said, oh, actually, we kicked him out because he stole money from the temple. And Prabhupada called that devotee. Actually, that devotee came to see Prabhupada. He begged Prabhupada. He was repentant. And Prabhupada said, okay, he told the temple president, you give him back in that same position. And the temple president was reluctant, but Prabhupada said, no, give him the same position. And again, after a few months, Prabhupada went back to the same temple. I'm forgetting where the temple was, what temple was that. And again, he inquired about that devotee, and temple president, oh, we have kicked him out. He again stole money from the temple. And again, the devotee who stole the money came to see Prabhupada, and Prabhupada begged for forgiveness. And now Prabhupada said, okay, if you steal money again, I'm going to disown you. And he told the temple president, keep him in the service. Okay. Tamal Krish Maharaj, was there, Prabhupada's secretary and servant. And Tamalkesh, after the devotee left, temple president, when Tamalkesh Maharaj was alone with Prabhupada, he asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada, would you really disown that devotee? Prabhupada said, no, I cannot do that. Nityananda Prabhu's mercy is infinite. I'm just a servant of Lord Nityananda. So this was the mood of Srila Prabhupada. And this is the mood of actually, it should be the mood of all the devotees who are coming in the line of Prabhupada. We have to show mercy to everybody. And then we'll get the mercy of Lord Nityananda, Srila Prabhupada, Lord Chaitanya, everybody. This audarya, merciful mood is most important. Of course, at the same time, we want to make sure the devotees are following principles. But mercy is much, much, much more important than anything else. Because Lord Nityananda himself is so merciful. So what can we do? Prabhupada himself is so compassionate, so merciful. And who are we? So anyway, we'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Prabhu, all this which you narrated, Prabhuji, is it from Chaitanya Charitamrita? Or you have compiled from different books, Prabhuji?
Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Bhagavat, Chaitanya Mangal. Of course, I just listened to a few lectures here and there, but yes, they're all over.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for narrating it so nicely to us.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu.
We also pray that we get Lord Nityananda's mercy.
We all have to pray for that. That's all.
True, Prabhuji.
Okay, so I guess we can stop here. You all have a safe and wonderful. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Jai Shri Prabhupada.